So the wrath of God is real, but the love of God is real also. And I'm glad we're recipients of his love. Somebody say hallelujah. But you'll notice very clearly here that the wrath of God is a real motivator. You see, God's judgment is real, and it motivates us to live right. There's certain things I will not do. I do not want to feel the wrath of God. See, when I was growing up, I grew up in a strong Christian home where there was real concepts of right and wrong. And I know very clearly that if I did something wrong, my mom or my dad would spank me. And it was very, very real. They didn't just say, I'm going to do that. They did it. What's so sad today is that we're trying to get away from any kind of corporal punishment for children. And it's sad. We're doing them a disservice because they don't realize how crucial it is to know that there are rights and wrongs. Now, if a child can just manipulate their parents and talk them out of whatever punishment they have, they get away with their thing. Now you say, well, and is it a problem? Yeah, it's a problem because they're not learning anything about justice. They're not learning anything about right or wrong. Why then do you have spoiled kids that take other people's lives and do all kinds of horrible things? It's because they've never learned that there's certain things that are right and certain things that are wrong. And that's the fault of parents. So my mom and dad, they, and in fact, Dad was much more disciplined in his discipline. That is, see, when I went to Dad, he'd give me 2 swats. He had this razor strap. I don't know if you ever remember those big, thick razor straps. And he'd whack, whack. Well, I felt it. It was great. Now, so when I knew that I was going to get a spanking, I would protect myself. I'd put extra padding under my clothes. And I'll never forget, God gave him a word of knowledge one time. I'll never forget it. He brought me into the bathroom and God gave him a word of knowledge. He said, pull your pants down. I said, no! What? Well, I felt it that time. Now, I never wanted to get disciplined by Mom because Mom would grab anything close by and she'd keep whacking you till she got tired, But the interesting thing about it, it put in my mind a realization. There's certain rights, there's certain wrongs. And they never, they didn't abuse us. That wasn't ever an issue. It wasn't something, come on, I get angry over some of the nonsense that's spoken here in our culture. There's the wonderful joy of married sex where that beautiful picture of marriage where there's an intimacy that happens between a man and a woman, between a husband and a wife. And yet there's also rape, which is very, very different. Now, they both are doing the same activity, but one is a picture of love, the other is a picture of destruction. So just because there are people that abuse their children in going way too far in their discipline should not be the excuse why you cannot discipline your children. People got to get their heads straight. I was in a meeting with some of our police officers and social workers. This was years ago. And they were talking about corporal punishment. I think about maybe me and a couple of the policemen were into corporal punishment. And I had to raise that issue. I said, look, there's a difference between married love expressed and rape. There's a difference between a parent who is loving their child and disciplining them and somebody who abuses their child. Are we communicating? So don't go throwing the baby out with the bathwater, because what you're doing is you're distorting the picture of justice for your child.